Hello everybody, welcome to the last two chapters of the story of Joseph that I'll be recording on my channel. So the last time we read through the story of Joseph, it's when Joseph had revealed his identity to his brothers, and then his brothers had to go to fetch their father, and he cried, and it was just a whole emotional time. But I'll have all the chapters linked somewhere up here so that you can watch them. We started reading from chapter 37, I think. Yes, chapter 37, where Joseph had a dream that he was going to be ruling and his brothers and his family was going to be bowing down in front of him, and they got very jealous and plotted to kill him, and then ended up just selling him to slavery, where he went to Egypt. He went through a lot while he was there. He was accused of rape, which is something obviously he didn't do. So he went through a lot of betrayal in his journey. So he had this dream, he shared it with his brothers, and then he got betrayed by his brothers, his family's own flesh and blood, because they got jealous over a dream. And then when he got to Egypt, he was blessed by God to be part of the ones that are in charge of Potiphar's house. And the wife wanted to sleep with him because he was very attractive and all of that. And he said no, and he ran away from the wife, but he left his coat, his jacket or whatever it is that he was wearing with her, because she was pulling him. So that was left behind, and she then screamed and said he was trying to rape her, because I guess she was embarrassed that this guy just rejected her. And then they put Joseph in prison. He then interpreted dreams of two other guys who were in prison as well, and asked the guys to please remember me and tell Potiphar that I am innocent. I didn't do anything. I'm here for nothing. And they forgot about him. And then one day, when the king Pharaoh of Egypt needed someone to interpret his dream, they remembered that there's someone in prison who actually can interpret dreams. That's when they called Joseph. He got ready, freshened up, cut his hair, looked the part, and when he interpreted Pharaoh's dream, he was then promoted to being the ruler of Egypt, which is just below Pharaoh. So that's basically how it's been. Once that was done, they then realized that the dream interpretation of the dream basically was telling them that there's a famine that's going to come, but before the famine comes, there's going to be 7 years of plenty, 7 years of abundance, and after that 7 years of abundance, there's going to be 7 years of plenty. Pharaoh then asked Joseph, what do you think we should do? Joseph then gave the idea of, let's put 20% away of whatever profit that we make. So profit as in grain, food, money, all of that. 20%, let's put it away so that when the famine comes, we have enough food to survive the 7 years, because it's going to be so severe. The famine did come after that, and once the famine came, Joseph's brothers were sent by their father Jacob to go and trade and ask for food in Egypt. And that's when Joseph saw his brothers, and lo and behold, the dream came true. They were bowing down to Joseph, and they were calling themselves your servants to him, and just basically wanting food so that they can take care of their family. And Joseph hid his identity for a while, and they found out that Joseph has a little brother now, and he said they must go back and fetch the little brother, and if they don't come back with the little brother, he's going to treat them like they are spies. So they went back to fetch the little brother. Jacob, the father, was obviously not happy about that, because Joseph was the only son of Rachel, which was his wife that he loved so much. And Benjamin was then born after Joseph was killed, according to Jacob. That's what he thinks, that his son was killed, but actually he wasn't. So then he held Benjamin too close to his heart, like it's my only son in Rachel's side, and Jacob, Joseph's brother. Gosh, it's a lot. But as you can see, we've been through a lot reading and studying the book of Genesis. Actually, that's just the story of Joseph, teaching us about being careful to who you tell your dreams. Even your family can betray you, but because that dream is given to you by God, God will be with you even through the betrayal. So this is just to remind you that whatever you're going through, if you have family or even friends that are jealous, that have betrayed you at work or at home or whatever it is, God is still with you. That dream that you have is yours, and just hold on to it and keep a positive attitude, and know that God has a plan for you. So let's finish today as Jacob, the father of Joseph, now comes to Egypt. We are going to be reading chapter 46 and 47. I do have my own Bible study material that I have created, where I can take down my keynotes, my reflections, affirmations, and also my prayers. So I'm going to share that with you. I'll link it below as well if you would like for yourself. And if you are part of the Glow Up Diaries, then you have that available for free as well. And if you want it for free, then join the Glow Up Diaries or the Cornerstone Club, and that's just a monthly subscription. Okay, let's get onto the table. Okay, so Jacob's journey to Egypt. So remember, Jacob is the father of Joseph. So another name for Jacob is Israel. So when you see Israel on your Bible, maybe if you're using like an NIV, it might say Israel, but mine, it's an NLT, it says Jacob. Okay, so Jacob set out for Egypt with all his possessions, and when he came to Beersheba, he offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. During the night, God spoke to him in a vision. Jacob, Jacob, he called. Here I am, Jacob replied. I am God, the God of your father. The voice said, do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make your family into a great nation. I will go with you down to Egypt, and I will bring you back again. You will die in Egypt, but Joseph will be with you to close your eyes. So Jacob left Beersheba, and his sons took him to Egypt. They carried him and their little ones and their wives in a wagon Pharaoh had provided for them. They also took all their livestock and all their personal belongings that they had acquired in the land of Canaan. So Jacob and his entire family went to Egypt, sons and grandsons, daughters and granddaughters, all his descendants. These are the names of the descendants of Israel. Israel, so sons of Jacob, who went to Egypt. Reuben was Jacob's oldest son. The sons of Reuben were Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmel. I might say these names wrong, please forgive me. The sons of Simeon were Jemiel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Shual. Shual's mother was a Canaanite woman. The sons of Levi were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Judah were Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah, though and Onan had died in the land of Canaan. We also did read the story of Judah and Tamar if you want to see how the sons died. Okay, 13. The sons of Issachar were Tola, Pua, Jashub, and Shimron. The sons of Zebulun were Sered, Elon, and Jahiel. Those were the sons of Leah and Jacob. So Leah and Jacob had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sons together. So this is what I was meaning when I said, so if you've read like Genesis, most of it, you will see that Jacob was actually in love with Leah's sister Rachel, but he had to marry Leah first before marrying the love of his life, Rachel. Okay, so let's carry on. So these were the sons of Leah and Jacob who were born in Paddan Aram, in addition to their daughter Dinah. The number of Jacob's descendants, male and female, through Leah was 33. That is a lot. 16. The sons of Gad were Zephon, Hagi, Shuni, Esbon, Eri, Orodi, and Ariel. The sons of Asher were Imnah, Ishav, Ishvi, and Beri. Their sisters was Sirah. Beri's son was Hebi and Malachiah. It stresses me because I don't know how to say the names properly and I don't want to be sounding like I'm rude. 18. These were the sons of Zilpah. the servant given to Leah by her father Laban. The number of Jacob's descendants through Zilpah was 16. 19. The sons of Jacob's wife Rachel were just Joseph and Benjamin, as I mentioned earlier. Joseph's sons born in the land of Egypt were Manasseh and Ephraim. Their mother was Asenath, daughter of Potiphar, the priest of On. 21. Benjamin's sons were Bela, Becca, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Rosh, Mupin, Humpin, and Ard. These were the sons of Rachel and Jacob. The number of Jacob's descendants through Rachel was 14. So obviously because Leah had 7 sons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Rachel had 2 sons, it's a very big difference of the descendants through Leah and Rachel. With Leah there's 33, with Rachel there's just 14. Okay. The son of Dan was Hashim. The son of Naphathal was Jazil, Guni, Jeza, and Shilem. These were the sons of Bilhah, the servant given to Rachel by her father Laban. The number of Jacob's descendants through Bilhah was 7. And I just wrote there that the number 7, according to the Bible, stands for perfection. The total number of Jacob's direct descendants who went with him to Egypt, not counting his sons and wives, were 66 in total. In addition, Joseph had 2 sons who were born in Egypt, so altogether they were 70 members in Jacob's family in the land of Egypt. Okay, 28. As they neared their destination, Jacob sent Judah ahead to meet Joseph and get directions to the region of Goshen. And when they finally arrived, Joseph prepared his chariot and traveled to Goshen to meet his father, Jacob. When Joseph arrived, he embraced his father and wept, holding him for a long time. Finally, Jacob said to Joseph, "Now I am ready to die, since I have seen your face again, and know you are still alive." And Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's entire family, "I will go to Pharaoh and tell him my brothers and my father's entire family have come to me from the land of Canaan. These men are shepherds, and they raise livestock. They have brought with them their flocks and herds and everything they own." Then he said, "When Pharaoh calls for you and asks you about your occupation, you must tell him, 'We, your servants, have raised livestock all of our lives, as our ancestors have always done.' When you tell him this, he will let you live here in the region of Goshen, for the Egyptians despise shepherds." Oh, wow. All right, so that is 46. Let's jump on to 47. Then Joseph went to see Pharaoh and told him, "My father and my brothers have arrived from the land of Canaan. They have come with all their flocks and herds and possessions, and they are now in the region of Goshen." Joseph took 5 of his brothers with him and presented them to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh asked the brothers, "What is your occupation?" So obviously Joseph knows, he just knew that Pharaoh would ask this question. They replied, "We, your servants, are shepherds, just like our ancestors. We have come to live here in Egypt for a while, for there is no pastures for our flocks in Canaan. The famine is very severe, so please request permission to live in the region of Goshen." So obviously here they just were honest, but they also wanted to make it clear that we're not here permanently. It's just temporary, as the famine is severe and there's no pastures, there's no green pastures for our flocks in Canaan anymore. 5. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Now that your father and brothers have joined you here, choose any place in the entire land of Egypt for them to live. Give them the best of Egypt. Let them live in a region of Goshen. And if any of them have special skills, put them in charge of my flock too. So I highlighted the best here and putting you in charge because when Jacob, so the father of Joseph, had a dream before they, got embarked on this journey, when he was in Beersheba, he had a dream. God said on number 46, verse 3, I am God, the God of your father. The voice said, do not be afraid to go to Egypt, for there I will make your family into a great nation. I will go with you down to Egypt and I'll bring you back again. You will die in Egypt, blah, blah, blah. But basically, why I'm rereading this is so that you can see that God actually promised Jacob that I will be there with you. You don't have to be afraid. And now you can see as they get accepted by Pharaoh, he offers them the best and he already puts them in charge. So that already shows that God is with you when, good things are happening and blessings are pouring. It's when you're following the steps and, that God has ordered for you. 7. Then Joseph brought his father Jacob and presented him to Pharaoh, and Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Okay, it's kind of weird that Jacob would bless Pharaoh. I thought it would be the other way around, but 8. How old are you? Pharaoh asked him. Jacob replied, I have traveled this earth for 130 hard years, but my life has been short compared to the lives of my ancestors. Then Jacob blessed Pharaoh again before leaving his court. 11. So Joseph assigned the best land of Egypt, the region of Ramesses, to his father and his brothers, and he settled them there, just as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph provided food for their father and his brothers in amount of appropriate to the number of their dependents, including the smallest children. 13. Meanwhile, the famine became so severe that all the food was used up, and people were starving throughout the lands of Egypt and Canaan. By selling grain to the people, Joseph eventually collected all the money in Egypt and Canaan, and he put the money in Pharaoh's treasury. When the people of Egypt and Canaan ran out of money, all of Egyptians came to Joseph. Our money is gone, they cried, but please give us food or we will die before your very own eyes. Joseph replied, since your money is gone, bring me your livestock. I will give you food in exchange for your livestock. So they brought their livestock to Joseph in exchange for food. In exchange for their horses, flocks of sheep, and goats, herds of cattle and donkeys, Joseph provided them with food for another year. But that year ended, and the next year they came again and said, we cannot hide the truth from you, my lord. Our money is gone, and all of our livestock and cattle are yours. We have nothing left to give you but our bodies and our land. Why should we die before your very eyes? Buy us and our land in exchange for food. We offer our land and ourselves as slaves for Pharaoh. Just give us grain so we may live and not die, and so the land does not become empty and desolate. 20. So Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. All the Egyptians sold him their fields because the famine was so severe, and soon all the land belonged to Pharaoh. As for the people, he made them all slaves. Famine was so severe, all slaves, from one end of Egypt to the other. The only land he did not buy was the land belonging to the priests. They received an allotment of food directly from Pharaoh, so they didn't need to sell their land. Then Joseph said to the people, look, today I have bought you your land for Pharaoh. I will provide you with seed so you can plant the field. Then when you harvest it, 1/5 of your crop will belong to Pharaoh. You may keep the remaining 4/5 as seed for your field and as food for you, your households, and your little ones. So obviously we're already seeing what's happening here. Basically, when you need food and someone is willing to offer that to you, they technically are buying you. I know it sounds bad. They technically are buying you, like they own you. You know, when someone is offering you like a job, you become their slave and they will pay you, but 1/5, so 20% is going to tax, so it's going to Pharaoh. And it's something that obviously we see as the adult, I guess. All right, last few lines. 25. You have saved our lives, they exclaimed. May it please you, my lord, to let us be Pharaoh's servant. Joseph then issued a decree still in effect in the land of Egypt that Pharaoh should receive 1/5 of all the crops grown in his land. Only the land belonging to the priest was not given to Pharaoh. Meanwhile, the people of Israel settled in the region of Goshen in Egypt. There they had acquired property and they were fruitful, and their population grew rapidly. Jacob lived for 17 years after his arrival in Egypt, so he lived 147 years in all. So he spent a good 17 years with Joseph. 29. As the time of his death drew near, Jacob called for his son Joseph, said to him, "Please do me this favor. Put your hand under my thigh and swear that you will treat me with unfailing love by honoring this last request. Do not bury me in Egypt. When I die, please take my body out of Egypt and bury me with my ancestors." So Joseph promised, "I will do as you ask." "Swear that you will do it," Jacob insisted. So Joseph gave his oath, and Jacob bowed humbly at the head of his bed. And that is it on the story of Joseph. I mean, it carries on. You can definitely keep reading, but I'm going to go through some keynotes with you that I picked up from Genesis 46 and 47. And if you want this, I don't want to show you all of them, but this is how they look. If you want all of them, I also have a prayer part there, prayer requests, and all of that. But if you want it, I'll have it linked below. So some keynotes that stood out to me for 46 is God is the one that will give you the abundance and the greatness. So God is the one that said, don't be afraid, go. I will make sure that, you know, your family is receiving the best, like greatness. Number 2, don't be afraid of change. New chapter, God has plans for us to be great, and God will be with us at all times in the new chapter of our lives. And starting up fresh is not easy, having to pack up and leave and, you know, meet new people and adjust to new things. It's not easy, but if you do it because God is the one ordering your steps, it is going to be just perfectly fine, if not the best. I remember when I got an opportunity to go work overseas, I always talk about this. It's because it was the biggest thing that ever happened to me. It was the hardest thing, though, that I had to go through, and it was so rewarding because God ordered my steps. Joseph reunited with his father and was filled with joy. So that is another keynote, that finally they reunited after, you know, the worst thing that happened to basically Jacob when he found out his son was eaten by an animal, which was not even true. 47. Just as God promised, his family was given the best land of Egypt and were put in charge in high positions. So the reason why I put that is because God has given us all these promises which are in the Bible, and just stay believing and knowing that God is not a human, that he's going to tease us or lie to us. He is God. He doesn't have time for jokes. What he says, it's what it is. And trust and believe and hold on to that promise, because every time we read a promise in the Bible, it ends up becoming real. So why would he lie to you? Sorry, I was saying, if he's giving you that dream or that vision, hold on to it and pray about it at all times. Being wise will bring you more wealth. So as you can see, with Joseph being the one in charge and ruling, since he was a wise man, Egypt was the one that got more wealth and owned all the land and all of that, just because they made a wise decision at the time of plenty. So at the time of plenty, Joseph suggested that they save 20% of grain, and they did that. They made a wise decision, because when the famine comes, you won't be starving. So again, ask yourself right now, if you're in your time of plenty, are you saving? Like I did a retirement video as well. And out of your income, let's say, for example, your income is 18,000. Let's see, times 20%. If you had to put away 20% of your income, so 3,600 Rand away into your retirement, I promise you, when you stop working, when you retire, you are going to be so glad you did that, because at your time of plenty, you made a wise decision to put away 20% or 10% into your retirement. That is going to reward you in the future. Another one, Joseph is teaching them how to put away 20%. So Joseph teaches us here how to save, but also how to pay your taxes 20%, and kind of build a relationship with Pharaoh as well. And lastly, Jacob got another 17 years with his son. So that was wonderful to see. Those are the key notes I got, and I hope you guys enjoyed the last two chapters that we studied together. I'm sorry if they were long. I'll also have a section here for you to do your affirmations, and also your how you're going to. So my affirmations are down here. But also here, I've got a section where you can answer, how can I apply God's word in my daily lifestyle? So what you've just read now, how can you apply that? So I've put things like daily trusting that God has a plan to make me abundant and great in all that I do. I must just focus on his word and promises. Embrace change, because God is with me always. God will always keep his promises. I need to stop doubting him. He will give me the best. I must save 20% of my income. So I must invest or save 20% of my income. And that will be a smart move, because when the famine comes, I don't want to starve. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Bible study. Let me know what chapter or what would you like us to study. Next, I do enjoy these, but like I said, they are going to be on the Cornerstone Club, so you can join below, or they will be on the Glob Diaries, which is on Instagram, so you can subscribe to that one if it's more affordable for you. The Cornerstone Club has Bible studies, but also with a mix of building a brand and building a business. The Glob Diaries is more Bible studies and us glowing up using my trackers and stuff for the year of 2025. So you just decide which one works for you for now, and I will see you there. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and stay blessed. Bye.